new kick butt hydro pots instead of the classic porta potty. Even wiser by our township, local businesses could advertise for a small cost on the front of the hydropot. The town newspaper, the Downers Grove Reporter, was holding a contest. Why would you want your name on a hydropot? The winner would have their name on the porta potty, and Mrs. Adams had a brilliant idea. She made this an assignment and sent it to all 200 students' poems into the newspaper. I had never been so focused on an assignment. This was right up my alley. I came right home after school and wrote that damn poem, and you know what? I won. So with that, I present to you Porto Poem. Remind me, I'm 13. Outhouse, John, porta potty, or pit. People will see my name when they take a... Oh, what a joy it would be for me for my name to be up there for everyone to see. My lifelong dream since I was a tot was to have my name on a hydro pot. The high-tech Johns are the best. They're cleaner and roomier than all the rest. There's not much more for me to explain, but on your Johns should include my name. My favorite part. Back to business. Last year, this was a great turnout. Now this is why I need your help. Some of you guys are slumped down your seats a little bit. Some people might be sleeping. But I need your help here. So, we're going to divide this into 3 groups. If you were here to watch me speak last year, very similar. So, over here on my left, you are the cancer group. We're going to try out here. I've got a bunch of bracelets and pens, so whatever group is the loudest, we're going to give these to, at least until they last. So you're the cancer group. Count of 3. I don't care who you're sitting next to. I want them to laugh because you're yelling so loud. Count of 3, you're going to yell cancer. 1, 2, 3. Cancer! Very good, very good. You guys are the sucks group. As loud as you can. 1, 2, 3. Sucks! Oh, one more time. Ready? Finally, ready to go. Here's our judges. Thank you. Now, I don't forget about you people back over here. 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with testicular cancer. Obviously, it affects the balls. Testicles. We're going to call them balls. So you are the balls group. 1, 2, 3. Balls! Here we go, all together. It was the beginning of January 2008, about 5 years ago. Thursday, January 10th to be exact. My wife Lynn and I sped northwest on Route 14 through downtown Barrington over the tracks, past Route 59 looking for Pepper Road. I had an appointment to meet Dr. Troy, my urologist. We walked in and I clicked the pen with the doc's name on it, and signed the sheet on the clipboard, and sat down in the waiting area with Lynn. Hey, at least it was a nice office, flat screen. He must be a good doctor, right? Couldn't help but notice the magazines on the wall. Golf Digest, Sports Illustrated, Better Homes and Gardens, and the one I gave a double take, How to Cope with Cancer. We were prepared with exactly that, cancer being the worst case scenario. We researched enough to know that I caught it early, and we were prepared to cope with chemotherapy if need be. I just didn't want to tell my family, my 2 older sisters, and my parents that I was their 2nd son with cancer. You see, Jeff, my brother, my older brother, passed away after a battle with leukemia on September 11th, 1979. He was 5. I never got a chance to meet Jeff. All I really know about Jeff is that we were both 8 pounds, 10 ounces. We were both 22 inches long. We both had blue eyes and blonde hair. We were identical in many pictures. In fact, the only way my family figured out who was by estimating the age of everybody else. Strangely enough, I somehow found out growing up that I was conceived on his birthday, October 27, 1979, 6 weeks after his death. Yep. The thought of my parents creating me makes me vomit as well. Meanwhile, back at the doctor's office, Lynn and I were still waiting, and we had made it through our first magazine when the receptionist slid open the dividing window, stuck her head out, and asked, "Excuse me, Jeff? I mean, Jason, do you have a copay with your insurance?" Let me remind you, Jeff's my brother's name. Hair on my arm stood tall, as it often does when his spirit is looking over me. I made eye contact with Lynn, We said nothing, but I knew by the look on her face that she was thinking the same exact thing. Are you kidding me? Is it even possible she just called me that? Till this day, I still can't get over the fact that a receptionist called me by my brother's name, who I truly believe watches over me, just minutes before I was informed I had cancer. As soon as the nurse called my name and took me to room number 5, I had feelings things weren't very good. I could just sense it. Positive vibes were absent. I waited there in that room. It was a new office, new drywall, had the new construction aroma and a nice computer. There I sat on the same stereotypical doctor's bed. You know, the paper sheet that gets ripped off when you leave. The same bed where kids nervously dangle their feet back and forth. Only mine were on the ground, because I'm, in my wife's terms, an ogre. Dr. Troy finally walked in. He introduced himself with a professional handshake, and we got right to business. He told me that I had a malignant tumor on one of my testicles. Hell, I'm not even sure what one it was. All I knew is I was in pain, and it was growing rapidly. Turned out to be a non-seminoma. A non-seminoma was the type of cell we were hoping it wasn't. A non-seminoma is the most aggressive form of testicular cancer. In other words, we needed that thing out of there ASAP. Dr. Troy elaborated on the tumor a little more and actually stated that it had doubled in size just over a week. When they had removed the tumor, it was the size of a large egg. His demeanor, however, positive the entire way, telling me not to worry. Caught it early. Looked me in the eye and told me that there was a 99% chance that I will recover. I knew it was 95, but I liked his optimism. Now let me tell you something, men. Boys, having a doctor tell you that you have cancer is one thing. But when the guy tells you we need to immediately remove the tumor, which so happens to include the testicle it is consumed, it will make a grown man cry. To me, that was the biggest loss of the day. I could deal with the cancer, but to take one of my boys? Now I'm going to be like ESPN analyst John Crook. Damn, now I'm former Red Sox third baseman Mike Lowell, the infamous Lance Armstrong, or Darren Jackson, the radio broadcast of the White Sox, comedian Tom Green, the list goes on. Now I have to think of any situation that might open a window for someone else to make a joke. That being said, here are a few things you want to refrain from saying around me or another testicular cancer survivor. If you are ever golfing with me, Mr. Hahn, and I slice a drive into the rough, never ask, "Hey, Hogreave, you know where your ball went?" When I hit my second shot on that first hole and lay the 8-iron on the green 10 feet from the hole, never yell across the fairway, "Hogreave, nice ball." When you are sitting at a poker table with me and I'm holding the ace king of hearts and I flop a flush, never say when the hand is complete, "Hogreave flopped the nuts." Never, when you coach a football game with me, come into halftime angry and tell your team to play balls out in the second half. When I am watching a baseball game and I ask you what the count is, don't be a smartass and reply 2 strikes and 1 ball. When you are playing basketball in my freshman PE class and we only have 3 basketballs for 4 games, don't come up to me and tell me we are 1 ball short. I am well aware. And last but not least, don't tell me you need 2 balls to have kids. 1 gets the job done. Now we have to readjust our chant as we did last year. Same cancer group. Same sucks group. We gotta fix you guys over there. You gotta drop the S. So here we go, one more time. I told my wife, who's not here today, she's never missed one of these, that this would be better than last year. I'm going to go 2 times through. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Cancer sucks balls! Cancer sucks balls!
They are eliminated. There was an S. Plural is not allowed. So, with that being said, we've got about 5 minutes here. On that day, I had successful surgery to remove the tumor. Problem was the tumor markers in my blood hadn't fully returned to normal. In other words, somewhere in my body there were some looming cancer cells. So there it was. I had to start chemotherapy February 26th. And the main part I want to talk about here is I kept a journal, which I recommend doing if you're ever stressed out, just write. So what I decided to do was bring my laptop with me to chemotherapy and write. Whatever I was feeling emotionally, physically, write to help clear my head, write to capture what I was truly feeling during this challenging time of my life. So here's a peek into a couple. I've got a lot of these, but I'm just going to share about 2 or 3 days. Wednesday, February 27th, this is day 3. Woke up face to face with Moose, that's our dog, as if he was asking how I was doing. Lynn was up and about before me, how great is she, asking what I needed for breakfast. I woke up hungry, felt pretty good as we left. Hard to stay excited on my way to the dock for what lies ahead. Wore my Cub slippers, which received many compliments. First treatment of bleomycin today. Same procedure as the days before. I can tell today that it's affecting my body. Aches go in with each drip. Still peeing up a storm. Took too many anti-constipation pills. Now I'm going like Harry from Dumber and Dumber. Got my first dose of Bleo this afternoon. Just a small amount to see how I react. This is what they were warning me about. Well, this is for real. I started to feel crappy around 3:30. By 4:30, I was still in the office with a temperature of 101. Needed some extra nausea medication through the IV. That ride home was awful. Teeth chattering, felt as I left a lot. Nauseous the entire way home. Huddled up in the passenger seat like a homeless man as Lynn drove us home. I remember walking up the stairs of the condo thinking to myself that I shouldn't be this tired up 6 stairs. Got into the condo, and before I hopped into the shower, I was shaking like I was having a seizure. Lynn had the bed already, hopped in, fever reached its peak at 102. Didn't break for 6 hours until about 10:30. Rough day. Hope it doesn't get much worse than this. Next week, Monday, March 3rd, went back to Friend for a day of work. The people here at Friend are a second family, the best medicine for me right now. I can't thank them enough. Was exhausted before first period was over. Made it through fourth period, went home and took a 2-hour nap. Made it to a couple hours of grad class. This is getting rough. In mid-March, marked the days 19 and 20 of treatment, which, like clockwork, I lost my hair. There was some hair on the pillow, and it really started to fall out more rapidly over the next 24 hours. Even though my hair is short, I will still never forget that feeling looking at my palms full of hair when I was shampooing my scalp. I immediately thought how emotional that must be for women who endure chemotherapy. 2 years later, the cancer came back, and I have to fast forward to this, in my lymph nodes. This was 2 years ago now. All I have time to share is that they split me open, so if you don't like stuff, gruesome stuff, don't look. Took out all the cancer, and I'm all clear today. Now, the focus is on you. April 13th, coming up here on a Saturday, we are hosting an event here at Friend called St. Baldrick's. Many of you may have heard it, maybe many of you may not. Basically, guys, we're asking you to go raise money, shave your heads. Girls, you can donate to Locks of Love by giving 8 to 10 inches of hair. I know that Fox News is getting involved with this. They are giving out anyone that volunteers their time 2 free White Sox tickets. I know that, and there's much more to come. All right, and I will continue to share that info with you. I would love to have this be a huge event. Again, Saturday, April 13th. Now, a few facts before we go. We got 1 minute or less. Estimated almost 9,000 new cases diagnosed. This is from last week. 270. We got 270 guys in this room. One of you is going to have testicular cancer. Check yourself. Have some guts. Check your nuts. There's about 1,500 guys walking these hallways. That's 5 guys. 2 guys sitting and listening to this speech in the last 5 years were diagnosed this year, survivors, and are done. So, check yourself. That's the bell. Remember, thank you guys. Get out.